Hey everyone, Resend D, Card Ranger. I decided to make my first card collection video. The reason I'm making this video is really the introduction, and the purpose, well, let me say this first. It was a little intimidating. There are so many great channels, unbelievable collections out there. My first thought was why would I want to show my cards? But the real reason I think is to share, but also I love where my collection was. I love where it is. And I really love where it's going, and I think that's what we all enjoy, right? The journey of where our collection is going. So maybe I thought I'd share mine. I've commented on so many great channels, and I've really enjoyed the last 3 months following everyone that I kind of wanted to share mine and kind of put a face to the name. The guys been leaving, those comments and annoying you guys. So, and the other thing I wanted to say before we start is, I debated whether I should mention any other YouTubers' names in here, and I wasn't going to, but I just think it's what I want to do, to thank people. So it's not a shout out; it's a thank you, and I think it's just the right thing to do, and it feels right to me. So, without further ado, the title of this is my first Mickey Mantle. Right? So I started collecting right in the heart of the junk wax era. If I had been born 10 years earlier, I'd have a heck of a collection. But the junk wax era seems so horrible to me. To me, it's more of the sentimental wax era, because so many of those cards, mean so much to me. I got back into the hobby just about a year ago. I collected through the mid-'80s, early '90s. Then high school, jobs, saved money for first car, the whole common story, right? College, wife. I have a 5-year-old. But now I'm back in, baby. Almost a year now. Turning towards vintage, but still love modern. So I'm all over the place, but that's why I love it. So my first card that I want to show you is my first Mickey Mantle card that I just got in, I guess it was early January. Yeah, mid-January. I'm going to cover the grade because it's not important yet. This is a 1964 Mickey Mantle. I saw this card. I loved it. It's not perfectly centered, but it's well centered. The corners are fantastic, and it's a 3, and I love it. So that's my first Mickey Mantle that I ever bought on my own to add to my collection. Gosh, love this card. Okay, so what I collect, just kind of a simple, is I collect all Phillies, vintage to modern, right? From the vintage all the way through Alec Boehm and the new recruits and draft picks. Favorite player, Richie Ashburn, huge Richie Ashburn fan. Robin Roberts and Whiz Kids. That's where I started my vintage in December or so. Actually, it was early December, so it was more like October, November last year when I really started getting into more of the vintage stuff. So that's where I started. And I love Phillies. Ashburn and Roberts are awesome. They're my key guys for vintage. As I got when I was younger, the first player I ever really followed growing up was Mike Schmidt. So I collect Mike Schmidt. Then it was Don Mattingly, right? And then it was Bo Jackson, and then Ken Griffey Jr. So those are the other 4 key guys that I collect. So just to show you some of my collection from them, and I also collect vintage Western, which I'll throw in at the end, a little different, and I have a really cool piece there. But so just to throw in, I collected all of the Whiz Kids 1950 Bowman. So this is my Richie Ashburn 1950 Bowman. Love it, love it. This Robin Roberts, I think it's really almost too good to be true. And here's why I say that. I've learned a lot since watching YouTube, right? So some of the thank yous I want to throw out there really quickly is, a baseball card collector, Blue Jacket 66, and those back pages, oh gosh, for all different reasons, you guys have just been amazing. I love looking at your cards, and I learned so much of what I want to do and what cards I want to collect, and what, different food and beverage, right? Why I'm collecting, those back pages kind of, he resets you center every time you watch him, right? So I want to say thank you to you guys first. Mangini cards, my Mangini collection. he needs to beef up a little bit on his Ashburn collection, just a little bit. But other than that, he's the man. Anyway, so this is my Robin Roberts. The reason I said I regret it a little bit is, if I had known now, then what I know now, after watching and learning now, these would be PSA cards. And I'm going to go there. I don't know if I'll send this one in. It really is a beautiful Roberts. Now I question if it's trimmed or not, but absolutely love that. Here is, this is Dick Sisler, right? He hit the winning home run in 1950 to win the pennant, right? And this is just one of my favorite players too, Granny Hamler. So those are a few of my Bowman. I have all the 1950 Bowman Whiz Kids. That was the first product I did getting into vintage. A couple of other cool cards I have is Richie Ashburn, 1956 tops, and the Robin Roberts 56 tops. The funny thing, Richie Ashburn, I don't know if you know, he was almost not a Philly. That would have been tragic. The Indians actually went to see he was 16 years old. They went to his house, gave him a contract, came back, he signed it, but then the contract was voided because back then you could not sign any players that hadn't graduated high school. So then the Phillies ended up getting him. So it's pretty cool. So that's a couple of my Richie Ashburn. I just got this one from, again, a big thank you to Mike O. I've been taking part in his auctions and learning and watching his PSA, and oh man. So I've been throwing some money his way the last month with pleasure. So there's Richie Ashburn. So I'm going to be going to the Philly show, and I have some specific things I want to focus on for vintage. One is I want to get another Mantle, and I have some names in my head. Really, my grandfather loved baseball, loved the guy to death. My grandmother also loved baseball. She went as a kid all the time too. And my grandfather grew up. He was born in 25, so he grew up in the perfect, to my opinion, the perfect baseball time frame all the way through the 50s and the greatest era. But he would always Mickey Mantle, right? Willie Mays, all those guys. But the one other player that he always mentioned was Satchel Paige. He said when he got in the league, he could not believe how good he was. So one of my focuses for the Philly show next weekend is I want to get a 54 or 56 Mantle. That's number one on my list. I think the 54 Bowman. It's interesting. The 54 Bowman has about half the PSA grade that the 56 Mantle Tops has. And I love Bowman. So I'm going to get that card, one of those two cards, I think, as long as I can find one at the right price. Satchel Paige 53 is on my list. And I want to get a 52 Bowman Richie Ashburn. So I'm not going to get all of those, obviously. I can't go all there. But that's what I'm going to be looking for, and we'll see what I come home with. I'll share that with you guys. So the other thing I love, which was introduced by, I first saw, I think it was on Blue Jacket 66. I think, anyway. Again, thank you so much. But is the 62 postcards. So those cards, I have some here. Those cards are, the reason those stuck out to me so much is, I have these from when I was younger, right? These are 1990. I wasn't that young, but early teen. And I just remember buying post honeycombs and eating those babies up as fast as I could to get another box, to get another card, right? So I saw those 62s and I'm in. So I got this, which I love. This is a really, I love it. It's a, 62 post Mantle. It's my second Mantle, I guess you would say, right? It has a little bit of a, thing here going on, but it's cut nice. Man, I saw it. I'm like, that's mine. It's a 4. There you go. Love it. Absolutely love this card. So then I got a few more. I got Willie Mays. It's authentic. Has a little bit of a issue in the face there, but love it. Also got Richie Ashburn. If it wasn't for that Cubs hat, this would be a really nice card. And then this is I love this one. So this is Eddie Matthews PSA DNA 2. And I looked this up. There's 5 of these signed, 4 are authentic. This is the only graded signed Eddie Matthews of the 62 post. So I'm saying this is a special card for me, right? I'm going with it. So that, love the postcards. I am thinking about doing this whole set. I don't really do sets. I just love players and cards I love, but I'm thinking about doing this set. Let me know what you guys think. I think it's 200 cards, plus you can do variations. The other one would be the 64 Giants that everyone talks about that I saw on a lot of your videos too. So I want one of those, I don't want to say easy sets, but the easier sets, not too expensive. And I think this stuff just, speaks to me, these postcards, right? So that's near and dear to me anyway. So what I have here, I grew up, in the junk wax, or I like to call this sentimental wax era. So I mean, we all collected, Bo Jackson. God, I love Bo Jackson. He's one of my 4 players. I always, things like Greg Jeffries, right? We had Greg Jeffries and Mark Grace, right? They were going to be unbelievable players and worth so much money. Randy Johnson, still great card. There's variations to this one. So when I got back to collecting a year ago, the first thing I did was go and get cards that I could never afford as a kid, right? So one I found that I wanted was, this is the Marlboro sign, Randy Johnson. So you can see here in the back, it actually has you can see the Marlboro sign on the billboard. They decided they didn't like that, so then they started fixing it, putting black marks over it and blacking it out. But this still has it on there. Love this card. So when I got back into the hobby, I started getting cards that I could never get as a kid. So all the great stars I loved, right? So I got Ricky Henderson, rookie. Love this card. Pretty well centered. Man, gorgeous. I just love those cards. Nice, Cal Ripken, right? Sorry, I'm not holding these right. Amateurs, right? Of course, if I had this when I was younger, I would have been, the hit on the school bus, right? But, 85 McGuire, obviously. And then this last one that I just picked up at the last Philly show in December, 82 Topps Traded, Cal Ripken. So, I went back and collected really all the great rookie cards of everything I couldn't afford, when I was little. There's no way. So the 4 players, I'll say modern players, the vintage. I love all the vintage. I'm doing the Mantle. I want to get Mays and Page. So, baseball history is a whole other category. Everyone collects those, right? If you're a baseball fan, if you can. But the 4 players I collect are Mike Schmidt. There's too many cards of him. Mattingly, as I grew. Bo Jackson was like the ultimate. Everyone wanted to be Bo Jackson. And then Ken Griffey Jr. So a couple of these, I got this card actually about a year ago when I first got back into the hobby. This is the 1973 Mike Schmidt. Now, I wish this next one was his rookie, because I don't know. I mean, it's Mike Schmidt. I love this card, but I wish he had his own card for his rookie. So this is my 74 Schmidt. Gosh, this would be a great rookie card. It's too bad, right? The 75, I actually want to upgrade at the show next week. So I have this one. It's not in great shape. I want to get a PSA 75. And that's the other thing. I talk about the Bowman, and what I've learned as I've now gotten back into this is when I started collecting the way I did before. I went on, except there was eBay now. So I went on just buying raw cards, and I loved every minute of it. Then I started getting into this community, and I found these, you guys in the videos, all these baseball card collectors, and I realized, PSA is a good idea. So that's where I am. So I'm getting my vintage cards, definitely, that are, anything that's worth anything to me, in PSA for sure, and then, I'll judge McCall on the other ones. I mean, I'm not stuck on PSA, but I think for the vintage, yeah, that's where I'm going. This is a 1986 Keller's Butter, Mike Schmidt. It's cut okay. It's got, whoever did that got a little tipsy over there, but whatever. So really cool 86 Keller's Butter. And then I just like this card. This is a Coca-Cola 81 Topps. I just always like that card. So I'll share more of these other player collections that I have of Schmidt and Mattingly and stuff. I just want to show you some examples of my collection and what I like. When I got back to the hobby, this is a card I could never get when I was younger. The 84 Fleer rookie Mattingly. Got the 84. I do have a few of the tops, but this is the 84 Nestle Mattingly, which I was really happy to find and love. And then, boom. All right, I never had this. And So I went through and bought all my Mattingly rookies that I couldn't get. And this is a newer Mattingly. This is 94, but it's a Pinnacle Museum Heritage, I say? Yeah, no, Museum Collection. It was a Museum Collection with Dufex. Now, another big thank you, man. I guess it's a thank you to Topps 85 401. Man, his Barry Bonds collection he shows is just unbelievable. He always shows these great 90s inserts. And I actually commented this. I said, this is horrible because you post these beautiful Bonds cards, and I go looking for them in Griffey or whoever they're in. Usually Griffey is the most common one because they overlapped. And I have another card for Griffey that I specifically got because I saw it on his channel. But thank you so much again. I hope you guys don't mind me mentioning you, but to me, I just want to say thank you and share what I'm doing and with information and just with all these videos help me see, and I enjoy seeing everyone's cards. So the next player, Bo Jackson. Growing up, everyone, I wanted to play football and run people over, and everyone pretended to be Bo Jackson. So 86 Topps traded Bo Jackson. This I love. So this is the 87 classic Bo Jackson. This one's, again, I wish I got this PSA graded because it's a better, interesting, good card of Bo Jackson. So I love this card. Love this Bo Jackson card. And then my post. Love the post. Pretty cool stuff. All right. So the last one, then I'm going to show you my last category that I collect that I love. But before I do that, I just want to show you Ken Griffey. And this is the first Ken Griffey card that I ever pulled. And this has a little, you can't see this. I don't know if you can see where my finger is. Probably not. I'm going to say, I'll call this a skid mark. Not that kind of skid mark. Anyway, so the story of that is, this broke my heart. I took this on the bus, 1989. So proud of this card. I dropped it on the floor of the bus. And there was a girl sitting next to me in the seat. The card hits the floor. She thinks she's being nice. Foot on card, slides it back over to me. Looks like I don't know, it's like boom, 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 boom. Almost like someone hit it, right? And I just, oh gosh, that was the worst day. Anyway, pathetic, but it was one of the worst days. Now the next ones I love. Again, another shout out to Blue Jack and those guys that do the food and especially food and beverage. But these are a 1989 Pacific milk chocolate bar. They came in yellow and blue and white. And this was actually released by Pacific. Ken Griffey was, hot. These are from 1989. And, there was actually chocolate bars. So you could buy a chocolate bar. And inside was a piece of chocolate that looked like a baseball card that had Ken Griffey's head on it. The funny part about this is Ken Griffey is allergic to chocolate. So, but he had his own chocolate bar. So I love these cards. Again, they came in yellow, Ken Griffey chocolate bar. They came in blue and white. Love these cards. Really love these cards. All right, I got to wrap this up. We're getting a little bit too long here. Two last cards. Well, three, geez. 93 Stadium Club Members' Choice. Just, again, sentimental card. Man, classic pat backwards Griffey. Gosh, love it. This is the one that Topps 85 401 turned me on to. So this is a Team Pinnacle with Dufex on one side or the other. So this has the Griffey Dufex on this side. Awesome, right? And then the back side is the plain Barry Bonds. He had the opposite. He had Dufex Barry Bonds, plain Griffey. But I saw him share that, and I'm like, I am finding that card with the Dufex Griffey. So that one I just got last month. All right, so that's the last. This is the last one. Again, I think I stacked up too many cards. Love Topps Living, man. I love the Topps Living. I think I might collect these more. I have quite a few already. The other thing that I got, I really love. This is a baseball collector collects the Perez Steel, and I had never seen those. I'm 100% in. They're on my. I'm not collecting those now. I have so many things I'm doing, my little projects, but they're on my list. I love those Perez Steel. I think they're beautiful. So my last wrap up here is going to be, I love Westerns. Again, I talked to my grandfather who loved baseball. He'd tell me all about the baseball players he loved, and he basically, I'm gonna hit list some of the cards that he told me about. That Satchel Paige, I wish I could show him that card when I get it. I wish I could. But he also loved westerns, and my uncle Ed gave me, I'm gonna say, hundreds of old western VHS tapes back in the day. And I always loved western cowboys, so I collect vintage western as well. So I want to show you a few of those, and I have one item here that brings those worlds together. So just quick, this is a 1930, I don't know if this is focusing, a 1930 Tom Mix. And this is I don't know how to pronounce this, like Jazmatzi, it's German. It's a tobacco card from Germany. It came with tobacco. And Tom Mix was really the first, I'll say Hollywood cowboy. He did over 200 movies. Only, I think 10 of them were talkies with sound. So he was in silent movies. But the cool story about Tom Mix, other than being, the first cowboy really on the big screen, popular, his popularity was huge. That's his horse Tony. He hired in the early 30s a young man who dropped out of USC, and he gave him a job on the set for Fox Republic, I think it was called then, or Fox Film, I forget, to work with the sets, who turned out to be this guy here, John Wayne. So Tom Mix, gave him his first job that got him into Hollywood. This is a 1952 Maple Leaf Gum. They're printed in Holland, sold to the U.S. and Canada by Maple Leaf Gum. So this is a 1952 Maple Leaf Gum, John Wayne. This is a 1952 Maple Leaf Gum, Gene Autry. And that's his horse, Champion. He's sitting on his horse name is Champ. So this is a PSA 5. And this last one, before I show you my last piece, this is a really cool one. This guy's name was Lash LaRue. This is a 1949 Bowman Wild West. And they have a whole series. In that release of 49, there's the sub-series A through, I think, H. This is the H series, are all the Western cowboys. But Lash LaRue was pretty awesome. He was actually a professional bullwhip user. Like, he did shows and everything. He is the one who actually trained Harrison Ford for Indiana Jones on how to use the bullwhip. Pretty cool. And if there's any Pulp Fiction fans out there, he was named specifically in Pulp Fiction. So if you can find that in the movie, he was named by name. I don't know if you know who that is, or maybe you looked it up if you watched Pulp Fiction, heard that name, but he was mentioned there by name in one of the scenes. So pretty cool. So again, this is kind of a long video, longer than I thought. Amateur hour here, but this is my last piece. And this you'll see this either advertised in the 20s or 30s. I think it's early 30s. But this is for a stereoscope machine. It's a stereogram card. So when I was young, this is like the original Viewmaster. So in the 20s and 30s they had the machines, but this was like for an eye test, and for different reasons they had these cards. But this is made in Pennsylvania, in upper western Pennsylvania, and it's for one of the stereoscope machines called the stereogram, or they call it a stereoscopic card. So you have a image up here of Babe Ruth, and an image at the bottom of Tom Mix. And the idea was just like a Viewmaster, except these are pictures. Your left eye sees one image, your right eye sees the other. They come together, and you're supposed to see depth. They call it 3D, but this is not really 3D, but you get some depth to the picture. So I thought this was awesome. It's from the early 30s, and it's Babe Ruth and Tom Mix in one. Kind of brings my two worlds together. So that's everything I like to collect. It's a long video. I don't know. Yes, that's a cow behind me. Her name's Lola. Say hi to Lola. No, go ahead, say hi to Lola. Okay, thank you. All right, thanks, guys.